A very good morning to all the students. Till then we have discussed about conventional power resources. Today I will explain you non-conventional power resources. Before going to start the meaning of non-conventional power resources, we should know that what is the need of using non-conventional power resources. We are already using conventional power resources like fossil fuels, petroleum, coal, firewoods. Then what is the need of using non-conventional power resources? As you already know that fossil fuels are being used to produce a major share of energy in the world. Okay, but their reserves are limited as they are non-renewable. If we talk about India, almost 80% of India's oil demand is fulfilled by imports. That's why we have to depend on oil producing countries to fulfill this demand. And now the government has planned to cut down this dependency on import by large scale adoption of electric vehicles. For this we want large amount of electricity and we have to enhance our electricity power capacity to meet future demand. Now the question is, how can we increase electricity production? It means fossil fuels are limited. We don't have too much quantity of petroleum. Then how can we increase electricity production capacity? We can't use more coal to generate electricity because it is also a limited resource. Therefore, there is an urgent need to develop and use alternate or non-conventional source of energy. Non-conventional resources are inexhaustible. Non-conventional power resources are those that comes from natural resources, and I already told you they are inexhaustible. Therefore, unlike fossil fuels, there is no fear of their depletion, and moreover they are environment friendly. Examples are solar energy, wind energy, nuclear power, geothermal energy, biogas, etc. First is solar energy. The energy derived from the sun's rays is called the solar energy. In this process, the sun rays are trapped in solar cells to generate solar energy. Like any other form of energy, the solar energy also needs to be converted into electricity. And this is done by using photovoltaic cells. These cells are like semiconductors. Okay, these are like semiconductors that convert sun's energy directly into electricity. Solar energy is widely used in heating water, street lighting, traffic signals, etc. Recent past you have listened many news about the uses of solar energy, like the government started using solar panels in metro station, in railway stations. If we talk about our country, India is a fast developing industry for solar power. Our country's solar installed capacity reached 35.12 gigawatt. The main focus is is on solar power utilization. India has pledged a target of installing 100 gigawatt by 2022 towards creating a clean planet. For this, an international solar alliance has been formed. It is an alliance of 121 countries, founded on 30th November 2015. And you know what? This initiative was first proposed by Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and India is a founder member of International Solar Alliance. The primary objective of the alliance is to work for efficient exploitation of solar energy to reduce dependence on fossil fuel. Okay. Next is wind energy. Moving wind possesses great energy in motion. These strong winds can rotate windmills, which is connected to generator to produce electricity. Okay. The region having a large number of windmills are called wind farms. These farms are generally found in the coastal areas and near mountain passes where strong and steady winds blow. मीन्स ये फार्म्स विंडमिल्स फार्म्स उस पर्टिकुलर एरिया में ज़्यादा होते हैं जहां पर विंड की स्पीड ज़्यादा होती है, सो दैट ये जो ब्लेड्स हैं ये मूव कर सकें. जब ब्लेड्स मूव करते हैं बच्चे तो काइनेटिक एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस होती है, और विद द हेल्प ऑफ जनरेटर वी कन्वर्ट दिस काइनेटिक एनर्जी इनटू इलेक्ट्रिसिटी. ओके. And if we talk about India, then coastal region of Tamil Nadu and Gujarat are the notable wind energy production areas in India. Next is nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is obtained from nuclear minerals such as uranium and thorium. These minerals have an enormous amount of energy. This energy is released when they undergo nuclear fission in nuclear reactors and emit power. Okay, बच्चे. Next is nuclear energy in India. Jharkhand and Rajasthan have large deposits of uranium. Thorium is found in large quantities in monazite sands of Kerala. If we talk about the areas of power station in India of nuclear energy, they are located in Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Karnataka. Next is biogas. Biogas is a type of biofuel that is naturally produced from the decomposition of organic waste. When organic matter such as food scraps, animal waste, municipal waste, sewage, plant materials break down in anaerobic environment, they releases methane and carbon dioxide, CO2. Okay. Now what is anaerobic environment? Anaerobic environment is an environment absence of oxygen. It means for the formation of biogas, decomposition happens in absence of oxygen. Okay. Due to the high content of methane in biogas, typically 50 to 75% methane is in biogas. That's why biogas is flammable and can be used as an energy source. You know what, बच्चे? the government of India is looking at blending biogas with natural gas to boost domestic availability of biofuels and cut reliance on imports. Now we have completed the chapter, but before we end, let's summarize the chapter. Listen, beta, I have already explained this chapter in brief, but for your convenience, I am going to summarize this chapter from starting. Okay, in short, minerals, naturally occurring substance that has a definite chemical composition, is a mineral. Minerals are unevenly distributed in the world. It means they are not equally distributed all over the world. Some minerals are found in the areas which are not easily accessible, such as the Arctic Ocean bed and Antarctica. Minerals are formed in different geological environment under varying conditions. Okay. Minerals are identified on the basis of their physical and chemical properties. And these minerals are created through natural process without any human interference. Okay. We can divide minerals into two types, metallic and not metallic. Metallic minerals are those minerals that are hard substances and contain metal in raw form, like iron ore. If we can divide metallic minerals, then there are two types of metallic minerals, ferrous and non-ferrous. Ferrous minerals are that which have high iron content, like iron ore, and non-ferrous minerals are that doesn't have iron content, like gold, copper. Next is the features of metallic minerals. If we talk about the physical appearance of metallic minerals, they are generally lustrous. It means they are shining, like gold and silver. If we talk about the conductivity, they are good conductors of heat and electricity. Ductility. It refers to the ability of a material to be drawn into thin wires without breaking. For example, copper wire. Metallic minerals are malleable. They can be beaten into very thin sheets without breaking, like gold and copper plates, and aluminium foil. Aluminium foil is which we use to wrap our food items. Next is non-metallic minerals. Minerals that do not contain metals are non-metallic, like limestone, gypsums are non-metallic mineral. And mineral fuel like coal and petroleum are also known as non-metallic minerals. Next topic is extraction of minerals. It means how we dug out minerals from the earth's crust. Extraction of mineral can be divided into three types: mining, drilling, quarrying. First is mining. It is the process of taking out minerals from rocks buried under the earth's surface. Okay. Minerals are extracted from the earth's crust is in the raw form. Next is type of mining. First is open cast mining. Open cast mining is done when a mineral is located very close to the surface, and shaft mining done when the deposit lies at a large depth. Okay. Next is drilling. Through the process of drilling, deep wells are bored to take the minerals out. Okay. Drilling is done for the petroleum product. Okay. Next is quarrying. Minerals that lie near the surface are simply dug out by the process known as quarrying, used for extracting building materials like stone and limestone. Okay. Next is distribution of minerals. Minerals are unevenly distributed all over the world. Like due to the various geological environment. Okay. The distribution of mineral depends that how and when they formed. Okay. Metallic minerals are found in igneous and metamorphic rock, whereas non-metallic minerals found in sedimentary rocks like limestones. Okay. Next is power resources. Power resources are a particular form of source of energy, and energy or power resources are fuels that produce energy. If we divide power resources, then we can divide into two types, conventional and non-conventional power resources. Conventional power resources are non-renewable and the resources that have been in common use for a long time. Okay. And non-conventional power resources are renewable. Okay. And environment friendly. First non-renewable power resources is firewood. It is the most common and easily available energy resource. People in village use it for cooking. Okay. If we talk about the advantages and disadvantages, then advantages are firewood is easily accessible, and if we talk about disadvantages, it is responsible for deforestation and pollution. Next is fossil fuels. The fossil fuels are of limited quantity. The fossil fuels are the remains of the plants or animals that have been buried and preserved for a long period in the rocks for the earth in the earth crust. Coal and petroleum and natural gases are the example of such fuels. Coal is formed from the remains of the decayed plants, trees, leaves. Coal formation took millions of years. Coal is also known as buried sunshine. If we talk about advantages, it is extensively available, and disadvantages is it is difficult to transport and it is polluting source. Next is petroleum. Petroleum is a dark colored liquid formed by the decomposition of the remains of dead animals. It is also known as black gold because of its importance. Petroleum is easy to transport and causes less pollution than coal. I'm not saying that petroleum doesn't cause any pollution, but if we compare from coal, then it produces less pollution. Okay. Next is natural gas. It is found in the sedimentary rocks along with the petroleum deposit and also brought to the surface with petroleum. Okay. It is a most eco-friendly fossil fuel as it releases very little smoke compared to coal and petroleum. Now, we have completed the chapter and I have summarized the whole chapter for you. Okay, I'm sending you an assignment based on today's lecture and your NCERT book material. Must solve this assignment in your social science notebook. And listen, if you have any query regarding the understanding of the chapter or this assignment, you are always free to call me. Okay? And listen, in next lecture, we will start the third chapter of civics. Okay? Thank you and God bless you.